Scanning for audio.
Where am I?
In the village.
What do you want?
Information.
Whose side are you on?
We want information. Information. Information.
You won't get it.
By hook or by crook, we will.
Who are you?
The new number 2.
Who is number 1?
You are number 6.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time not talking about Doctor Who whatsoever, but I am talking about something close to my heart. If you've listened to the last 550 episodes of the Tin Dog podcast, you'll know that I sign off each and every single one of them with the epithet, "Be seeing you." Now, I do get the odd email from time to time from people saying, why do you say seeing you when quite clearly you're an audio podcast? Well, the reason is because that's what they say in the village. Not the village in New York, or even the pub in Newcastle. But no, the village is the setting for the TV series from 1967 called The Prisoner, Patrick McGoohan's child of imagination, the thing that I loved so much growing up. Yes, The Prisoner was remade and had Ian McKellen as number 2, the world's most perfect number 2, slightly camp and just marvellous. The TV series was monumental. 17 episodes with a guy who looked just like the bloke who'd been in Secret Agent or Danger Man as it was known in the UK. And an agent had resigned. We didn't know why he'd resigned. He went home and woke up in a strange, almost Mediterranean village. Everyone was charming and lovely, and all they wanted to do was know why he'd resigned, and he just wouldn't tell them. And he wouldn't tell them for 17 episodes, 2 seasons of, well, let's call it remarkably confusing thriller. Some people tuned in thinking it was a spy thriller, a continuation of the Danger Man series, and it simply wasn't. It was something so much more. It was about freedom, it was about self-control, self-determination, it was about what made yourself yourself. It was about everything, and it was about imprisonment. The ending, well, let's look at it this way. My dad came to me in the 80s and said, right, there's something starting on Channel 4, because Channel 4 just started. Something on Channel 4 tonight. You'll love it. You will completely love it. And I'm like 13, 12 at the time. And he said, but you'll hate the ending. And you know what? I did. Because when I was a kid, I just couldn't make sense of it. I can make sense of it now on a much more intellectual level, but that's not what's important. This is a trip of psychedelia, of strange science. I loved The Prisoner so much that I ended up playing perhaps the best version of Prisoner ever, which is the GURPS version, Generic Universal Roleplay System, version of the Prisoner storyline. But of course there are lots of other books, lots of, well, dissertations, all written about what the prisoner means. It means whatever you want. It's the sort of TV series that touches you on levels that you're unaware of, and you come back to it and think about it. So it's kind of impressive that Big Finish of A managed to get the rights, and B managed to remake it. Now, when they remade the Prisoner TV series with McKellen and moved the whole thing to America and had a very interesting take on it, it was only 6 episodes long and it was a mini-series. This is nothing to do with that. Yes, some of the main themes are similar, but this is firmly anchored in the original 60s series. Now, the original 60s series had an actor, writer and producer that was all the same person, and some of the episodes were even directed by him. This was McGoohan's child, but the rights of ITC stuff do belong to ITV. So, although McGoohan's gone, you've got a wonderful version. Now, when it was announced that Big Finish were going to do The Prisoner, I was worried. Like a lot of fans, a lot of people were kicking off, going, oh, it shouldn't happen, blah, blah. You know what? We're wrong. We're simply wrong. You should be able to reimagine things. You can have 1,000 versions of Hamlet and it's still Hamlet because its core values are the same, because you've got the same sort of scripts. And here we have, from Big Finish, as of today, the 6th of January 2016, a boxed set, 3,000 limited edition, and it's just gorgeous. They've gone back to the original setting, the original ethos, the original world, because they can. And the reason they can do this is one man's role. Mark Elstob is playing number 6. More importantly, Mark Elstob is channeling, on a level I didn't think was possible, Patrick McGoohan's voice. Not just his voice, his characterisation, and his character. It's as if they've taken samples from the TV series and given them back to us. It's an incredible performance. I have never heard. It's not even an impression. It's actually channeling. It's possession. This performance is superb. But let's be a cynic for a moment. You've got 4 stories here. You've got The Prisoner in its original 1960s setting. And yet, it's not quite the same thing. There was a lot of spurious pseudoscience in the original 60s version. But here you've got something else. And like the original 60s version, as an audience member, you were sitting there going, oh, what's going on? I'm going to try and figure it out. Because that's what we do. We like to try and figure out what's really going on. And the pseudoscience here is the pseudoscience of today, of the mid-2010s. People have tablets. There's mentions of cloning. There's holograms. Yes, the sort of thing that might have been thought of in the 60s. But these things are a lot more real these days. So yes, it's more of a science fiction-y feel, but it is about freedom and self-determination. And this is where the cynic in me comes from. You've got 3 of the 4 stories which are remakes, reimaginings, reworkings of original stories, original TV stories, stuff you could watch on ITV2 in the afternoon with the original cast, and you could physically watch it. But that's not quite the case. These things have been tweaked, turned, made more accessible on audio, and been recast. The number 2s that they've got in for this are just brilliant. Yes, there is a tiny niggle that I've got going, which is the voice of the village PA system. Doesn't sound like Fenella Fielding. But you know what? After listening to these 4, that I don't care about. And I adore Fenella Fielding's voice. But the PA system of the village, I was just being precious. She's great. To be fair, there isn't a weak performance going on. Yes, the 3rd story, which is the only original one here, is hard going, but it's hard going because it's actual torture. There is torture going on in this episode. There is sensory deprivation on a level that you've never heard in a Big Finish story. Yes, turning the lights off is something that's been done before on audio a billion times, but this kind of dark, foreboding, threatening world bears more resemblance to, Survivors than anything else. So what do you have? You have a 5-disc set. The limited edition boxed set does look gorgeous. There is no getting away from that. Pre-order price of £40, digital pre-order price of £35. But the stories themselves, the original story of course was called Arrival. In here, the original story, the origin story, is called Departure and Arrival. And there's a little bit before the village, before his resignation, a bit of his last ever mission. The Saltzman's mentioned, and that's from the TV series. There is The Liaison. Now, McGoohan himself turned down the role of James Bond at least twice. This is monumental. We could have had a McGoohan Bond, and he would have been dark and brooding, but he was an incredibly, people use the word moral, but he had a code of ethics, and that's what we can describe. He only wanted to kiss his wife, and that made sense. But his performance in The Prisoner comes across. His dislike of guns made him an anti-hero in America. Just made him acceptable over here. So these are the things that have to echo throughout these versions of The Prisoner, and they do. So Departure and Arrival has Agent ZM73. Oh, and by the way, if you're new to The Prisoner, you do not at all need to have seen the TV series. This is definitely a jumping on point, because the ending will be different. It can't be the same. So is this a strange attempt to make things better or just different? Yes, I think so. Because the ending of the American version of The Prisoner, that bore a lot of resemblance to the ending of Lost. And we all know how marvellously accepting we were of that ending. So whether this has an ending or not, I just don't know. But let's talk about these 4 stories. departure and arrival. The synopsis reads, a failed meeting in Belgium catalyses Agent ZM73 to resign from his top-secret post. But when he awakes the following morning, everything is changed, even his name. Trapped in a bizarre coastal village, with every move monitored by the mysterious Number 2, the man, now known as Number 6, struggles to make sense of it all. Yes, this is all about identity. The quest to find out who is Number 1, who's actually behind the scenes and running things, which not necessarily is the same thing. And, of course, the idea that he is now Number 6. Episode 2, The Schizoid Man, also based on a TV story. 6 finds himself fascinated by a strange bond, which is suddenly developed between himself and Number 9. But the next morning, 6 awakes to find himself changed, a moustache, different hair, and a new name, Number 12. Episode 3, Your Beautiful Village. As I've said, this is the one that is an original story, but it fits so beautifully and so perfectly that Nick Briggs seriously had nothing to worry about. Something is very wrong as 6 experiences the most disturbing sense deprivation. Almost complete darkness, filled with haunting sounds, fragments of conversations, and a desperate call from 9 start to test his reason. Episode 4, The Chimes of Big Ben. Again, based on, well, this story on TV actually exists in 2 different forms, and people argue over which one's the true one. I can hardly tell the difference. So here's a third version for people to bicker about as well. Either way, they're all marvellous. A new prisoner arrives in the village. A woman is strong-minded, independent, and refuses to accept her number, 8. She's not a number, she's Nadia, and 6 is convinced that she's his ticket out of the village. The set contains 4 episodes, 2 78-minute feature-length and 2 hour-long episodes, and a behind-the-scenes documentary, all with a lavish colour booklet. This is quite definitely, if you listen to the extras disc, Nick Briggs' baby, and you know what? He can be very, very proud. But so can the entire cast. And you know what? If you are a Prisoner fan, get this. Give it a go. Don't prejudge it. Don't think, oh no, it can't possibly be as good. Because even with these 4 stories, it's already so much better than the American TV series. And it could be just as good as the ITV one. And that is saying something. It has the feel of an ITC drama. And, well, let's face it. I'll let you make up your own mind. Because after all, feel free. So until next time, be seeing you.
I hope he doesn't break any speed limits and get himself into trouble. He's going to get himself killed one day, you know.
Where am I?
In the village.
In the village.
Désirez-vous un taxi, monsieur?
Take me away from here.
Where to?
As far as you can go.
I heard this was your first day.
And my last.
Why'd you say that, Number 6?
Don't call me that. It's just the number of a house I woke up in.
Now then, Number 6. File open.
I don't know who you are. I don't know who you work for. And I don't care. Open that door or I'll break it down.
There's no need for all this nonsense. All we want to know is why you resigned.
Stop! Do not run! Halt!
Stop running, man! Stop running! You don't stand a chance!
We don't want any unhappiness in our beautiful village, and if Number 6 behaved aggressively towards you...
What's your real name?
What's yours? You see, we're both scared to talk.
I love you.
This place is a madhouse. A bloody nightmare.
Yes, get out of here. Yes, we must, or they'll kill us. Worse.
Words.
Orange alert. Orange alert.
You've been listening to the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast. Available on RSS, iTunes, Audioboom, Tumblr, and wherever podcasts are found. Why not become a supporter of the show by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Doctor Who and its associated properties are copyright of the BBC and no infringement is intended. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.